Greetings. My name is Ehav Ever, and I am the author of two books called Masoth, The Journey Beyond, and Masoth, The Ascending the Core. Essentially, I would like to give a little bit of background on myself and how I came to be the author of these two stories. First of all, for those who don't know, I'm a video blogger on YouTube. I have a written blog called Chokhmah Musar, until basically Blogspot stopped being the place to do those kind of things. But I still continue with videos on YouTube. So I would say probably around 2000, maybe 9 or 2010, I had a dream one night. And when I woke up from it, I just felt really compelled to write it down, which I did with a lot of my dreams. And one of the things that came out of that process is that I had a few pages of something, and I just kind of said to myself, "Oh, this is really interesting." I've had a number of weird, kind of interesting dreams, but for some reason, I felt compelled with this one to just do more writing on it. I just kind of took it and expanded upon what actually happened in the dream. In a few cases, pulling out information from other dreams that I had written down. And at the end of the day, I think maybe if after about a week or two of writing, I got to about 100 pages. And I said to myself, okay, wait a minute, if I've got 100 pages just playing around with this dream that I had, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I can do something with it. And eventually what happened was that I came across a program called YWriter, that essentially helps authors be able to organize their work, because one of the first challenges I came to was after about 100 pages, I couldn't remember how I named somebody, like maybe on page 50, what I said happened on page 35. And, with YWriter, I was able to organize my thoughts. Eventually, with YWriter, I was able to get to about 600 pages of information. And there was a certain point where I just started editing it over and over again. But I got to the point where I realized that I really had more than one story on my hands. So what I decided to do was take a third of it, and that eventually became the novel Masoth, The Journey Beyond, which I self-published in 2012 through Aventine Press Printing, which is like a self-publishing company that helps kind of organize your book for self-publishing. It took a number of years, about 10 years almost, to get back to the process of trying to decide what to do with that second book, because one of the challenges I found was with one book, it's kind of hard to convince people to say, okay, well, you only got one thing out there. What else do you have? And I also felt that something was missing because of the fact that the story ends in a certain way, like there has to be a part two. So I started working on a part two. And the thing is, with both stories, it's a very kind of personal story. And deals with things that happened in my life, but placed in a science fiction kind of motif. So to kind of explain what the different motifs are that I've been writing about in the Masoth, book series. First of all, I live in Israel. I'm an Israeli. I'm multilingual. Including English, Hebrew, Yemenite Hebrew, Aramaic, also Samaritan. And when I was a kid, I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, but I grew up in a school where we both had English and French as a part of the curriculum. The other issue is my father's family, but prior to this last generation, was also multilingual. My father spoke Spanish, English, Turkish, because he grew up in a Turkish neighborhood till he was 10. And I've also traveled around the world. When I lived in different parts of America when I lived there, including California, also New York, New Jersey, Kansas City, Missouri, and also Texas. Excuse me. And also, I've done some traveling internationally. I was in Ethiopia for a little while. I was also in Japan twice, when I was a kid, once as an adult. And I've been living in Israel since about 2007. So at the current date of 2023, that makes it almost about 15 years or so here. And I've lived in different parts of Israel, from Jerusalem to Beersheba. Ma'ale Adumim is where I started out. And also I'm back in Jerusalem. So Masoth, The Journey Beyond, and also Masoth, Ascending the Core, deals with some of these journeys I've had, but placed in a science fiction motif. One of the things I've enjoyed most about writing these books is the ability and the freedom to be able to take experiences that I've had and kind of place them within a context that kind of either amplifies them or over amplifies them, and can sometimes make them comical. Just to give a few more additional details about the different aspects of life that I've entered in the book, is attended Prairie View A&M University, which is right outside of Houston, Texas, for university to get my electrical engineering degree. During that time, I had joined Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Um, Also, like I said before, throughout the travels that I've had, living in New York, a lot of those kind of experiences enter the book in one format or the other. Um, or the books, I should say, in one format or the other. So one of the things I would say also, being someone who's been living internationally, and also, um, having kind of a mixed background that I have. My father's family was originally partially from Senegal and also from Spain. And my mother's family also has kind of a background from, I think, also from Ghana, as well as part of the family was like from France or something like that. So these are the things that I've entered into the book as a kind of a cultural, cultural aspects of the book. And that's why one of the reasons I say it's kind of a multicultural science fiction novel, because I've entered all of that into kind of like a pot of stew, or into like a soup, into this book. And it's because of the fact that it's what I would say is a Jewish Senegalese science fiction novel. It's something that is very rare in the sci-fi genre. And I think it fits into the areas of like what I would say, people call Afrofuturism, as well as you could say even Jewish sci-fi and Jewish futurism and Israeli sci-fi and Israeli futurism. And also, I play with the idea of being multilingual a lot in the book. There's a lot of adventures and misadventures that happen to the main character, whose name is Ezra Leons, as a part of him being multilingual. And having an ability to speak to these various aliens he comes into contact with in their language, within the context with which their language works. So again, this is Ehav Ever, and I hope that you will find a reason to purchase the book. It's either in print format, which you can buy through lulu.com, which is linked in the purchase part of the page, as well as an ebook format, which you can purchase directly from the site. So thanks again. Take care. And bye.